A Sentinel by any other name might still be just as cool. This is the Transformers Studio Series version of Transformers 1 Sentinel Prime. But I have no intention of using him as the character of Sentinel Prime. I'll talk about what all of that means in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby! Hit that notification bell, please. Helps me out a ton. Let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel, don't you know? Check out Machinery Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below, also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. Like I said, this is the Transformers 1 Studio Series Sentinel Prime, but I'm not going to use it as Sentinel. Without any further ado, how about we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And yes, indeed, here we have Transformers Studio Series Transformers 1 Sentinel Prime, who I'm not actually going to use as Sentinel Prime. I've heard good and bad about this guy, especially the way the chest goes handled. I'm going to talk about that when we do the transformation and kind of how I handle it, because I haven't had any issue with his chest being loose or untabbing and stuff. But there is kind of a finesse to it, if you will. On the packaging, we have Sentinel over here in his brave looking glory. Here we have both the alt mode and the robot mode that wraps around to the side of the box. And on the back, of course, we have both his alt mode and his robot mode, as well as his battle mode, we're gonna call it, and how he looks in the film up here. The little bio says basically that he protects Cybertron from the Quintessons. We have this large sheet of instructions, but honestly, he's fairly intuitive. These are good though. And here we have our Voyager boy in between a couple of other primes. Pull up a chair, sit down for a moment, and let me kind of explain what I plan to use this guy as. So, the lineage of the Matrix of leadership basically starts with Prima, usually, though there's an argument and there's a debate ongoing whether or not Primon was the first Matrix bearer and handed it to Prima. How that would have happened, I don't know, because how would Primon have existed with the Matrix before Primus made the 13 Primes? So that's a bit debatable. Some say that Primon and Prima are one and the same. I like to, in my headcanon, defer to Prima as the first Matrix bearer, his being the origin Matrix, and he created all other matrices held by the Primes into various continuities and universes handed down. Prima gave it to Prime Nova, or Nova Prime, if you will. Nova Prime, depending on the continuity you follow, either kind of disappeared into the dead universe and came back as Nemesis Prime and eventually became Nova Prime again. And his disappearance led to the rise of the fake Prime with a fake Matrix being Nominus Prime. However, in the G1 continuity, he handed the Matrix to Guardian Prime, and Guardian Prime looks awful suspiciously like Hot Rod. An awful lot. If you don't know Guardian Prime, look him up. And you'll say, wow, yeah, that's Hot Rod. Guardian Prime gave it to Zeta Prime, who I'm going to use this guy as, because quite frankly, if you know G1 Zeta Prime, at least as depicted in the IDW comics, as much as I don't like the IDW comics, there's a lot of nods here, both to the shoulder pieces, the angular nature of the chest, the face mask in battle mode. All of that is very Zeta Prime-esque. And so are the kind of wings behind, behind his body, very Zeta Prime-esque. Zeta typically handed it to Sentinel, who I'm still going to use the Titans Return one as, and Sentinel to Optimus. Doesn't always work like that. Sometimes Zeta and Sentinel are one and the same, and it's called Zeta Sentinel. Sometimes Zeta handed it right to Optimus. So it's not the clearest thing. If you are somebody who ascribes to, hey, no Guardian Prime, Nova Prime disappeared, and eventually Sentinel became the next Prime, Well, this guy also bears a striking resemblance to the fake Prime Nomimus. What with the like blue, the two-tone blue on the lower legs and the pointy toes. What with the gold outline on the chest and the silver ribs. The blue on the shoulders, even the blue on the forearm. So like there's nods to Zeta and Nomimus in this design of a Sentinel Prime. So that's why I'm going to use him as my Zeta. Just wanted to sort of explain that because there was a reasoning and a logic behind it. The guy comes with this shield over on his arm, as well as these two blasters that can either go in his hand or peg onto the shield. Sadly, the guy does not come with his big iconic double blade that he had in the film. Some people have said, hey, there's going to be 3D printable versions or add-on kit or some such thing. Maybe. I'm not exactly sure where you would store it. Am I angry about that? I think I would be if I intended to use this guy as Sentinel, but I'm not angry about it because I'm going to use this guy as Zeta. Okay, that out of the way, we're going to take this off of his arm, just so it's not there. By the way, there's you see like a rectangular, I'll say slot there, or tab, I guess, a rectangular one here. It goes into this rectangular slot on the shield. Shield is, I don't know if it's all painted in pink or if it's cast in pink. It feels like it's painted in pink, but I'm not sure. The two blasters, they're just a couple of little gray blasters, and the way that they attach is just there's a little 5mm peg hole, and you just take the peg that would go in his hand and put there. We're going to lay all that aside for now. We'll see how that goes attached to him later. I'm just going to put this guy more in the center, and yeah, so let's get going with him and start our scores for his overall look. While I'm not using him as the intended character, we're still going to score him based on the way he looked in the film. Starting from the feet and working our way up. On the feet, we should have gray right here on this molded in piece that's still blue. The two-tone blue on the shin with the gold kneecap and the kind of grayish black detail on the kneecap. That's all correct, as is the gray thigh. However, there should be gold coloring on the outside of the thigh, just like there's like a gold piece right here. And the gold piece that's on the lower leg should also fold around to the inside of the leg, which we don't have. So he's missing some gold highlights on the legs. At the hips, very close into the hips, they should not be gold, they should be black. The blue pelvis with the little gold accent in the front, that's correct. The gray silver detailing in the center and the gunmetal gray and silver for the ribs, that looks correct. Though, arguably, the silver just under the ribs here maybe that's supposed to be gold. The gold in the center of his chest, yeah, that's correct, as is the gold detailing on his pecs. The shoulder pieces, they're correct. There should be a little bit of gold detailing here on the arm, but the gray bicep is pretty much correct, as is the blue on the lower forearm. Glad they put some of the detail in here. I'm glad he has his gunmetal gray hands. Should be gold on the back of the hand. The wings being there, that's fine. The head sculpt is pretty spot on. Yeah, pretty spot on actually. So overall look for the guy, we're missing some gold. And he doesn't have that double barrel, or that double bladed axe. I'm going to say though that you're going to know that this is Sentinel from that film. I'm going to give him an overall score for look of, I'm going to say 8.5. No, I'm going to say 9. We definitely needed some more gold, but what's there is done really well. So we're going to say a 9. In terms of the articulation for the guy, let's do that next. We have a head that goes left and right, and you don't really get any up and down. The wings can move back out of the way, they can angle up out of the way, you can do a lot with the wings. The arms, or the shoulders if you will, can T-pose out that far. I wish they could go slightly further, but I'm okay with this. The shoulders can go all the way around. We do have an elbow to 90 degrees and a bicep swivel. No wrist that I can discern. No wrist, so that's a little bit of a bummer. We do have a waist. Full free-flowing waist, actually. Leg all the way forward. Leg all the way back once you get it past the wing. thigh swivel. Actually, it's like I think more of a knee swivel. No, it's a thigh swivel. I'm sorry, it's a thigh swivel built up from the knee instead of down from the hip. My bad. We have a knee to 90 degrees. I like that all of this is molded in, so it's nothing hollow in there. We have. I find that with this, I need to leave it back a little bit to give him heel stability. Like not a lot, but there's a sweet spot to have that transformed so he's not back heavy and falling back. Toe tilt down and ankle tilt like way in. And here's the kicker. Though you saw him next to a Voyager being the Titan's Return Sentinel Prime, and that Sentinel Prime, he's like 165 grams of plastic. Like he's a big Voyager. I've always said that a Voyager's range should be between 145 and 165 grams of plastic. This guy's 150 grams. He has the necessary mass. He has a fair amount of paint. Bring this up. He has a fair amount of paint on him. Even though he's missing some gold, he still has a fair amount of paint on him. He definitely has a high parts count. And though we're missing a wrist, he really has all the articulation I could want. I guess wrist and the head a little bit. For the articulation, I feel like I can get most dynamic poses I want. He's mostly good and stable on his feet if you make sure that you have, the toes and heels positioned just right, which is easy to do. It's not a chore to get him to stand or anything like that. I'm going to say, let's see, I gave him an 8.5 for the, no, I gave him a 9 for the overall look. For the articulation, I'm again going to say 9. Yeah, I wish that we had it up and down at the head more. Yeah, I wish that he could slightly T-pose more. And yeah, I wish he had a wrist, but I don't find I really miss the wrist that much. So I'm going to say a 9 and a 9. I'm in a good mood. Your boy's going to say 9 and a 9. Okay, let's go to his, super mode. 9 and a 9 is a pretty good start. To do the super mode, we open down this piece of the chest and we reach in and there's a... If I can get it out, come on now. Usually it's not this hard to get out. Holy smokes. Why am I having such a time here getting this out? Hold on, I'm gonna get his face mask out. There's the face with the face mask. I think I'm just gonna leave him like this because that seems very Zeta-esque. Okay, now that we got that done, and I really like this face, we come here next and we fold that out and bring it down. We come here next and fold that out and bring it down. By the way, getting the face plate out isn't hard. I just had it pushed in too far. It's not hard, it didn't want to cooperate with me. I made it look harder than it is. There you go. We open the side here and we bring out these leg blasters on the side. I kind of close it in again. We do the same over here. We open out the side. If I can just get it to move. There we go. We bring out the leg blasters and we close it back in like that. We come here and open that heel out, and again, now you got to try and get the thruster here. It's easier if you have something to kind of nudge this with. Or nails. If you have nails, that would help too. And I kind of don't at the moment. So we bring that down. There you go. And we bring that down here on the back. Over here. See if I can get this one out now. Come on. There we go. And we bring that down and we stand our guy up like that, and that's his weird battle mode. If you're curious about his height now, I mean here he is now. Just move him over ever so slightly. Here he is now next to that Voyager, and now he feels like a Voyager, I guess if you wanted him bigger, you could always do that. By the way, the one thing I didn't do is, because I think it's silly, is you're supposed to extend these as well. down over his arm, so to speak, as like, I guess blasters, but I mean, you just saw there, you don't need to. And they mention if you want him to be in like a flight mode, you could always bring these heels in behind his feet. For the record, I'm actually going to leave them in there like that now because we need them in there like that for his plane mode. But I like the battle mode for the most part. I find the toes down weird, yeah, no doubt. And I don't tend to pull these out, but I love the battle mask. So we're going to close this in and we're going to close this in. Doing the transformation to here is phenomenally easy. We're going to close in those blasters on the legs and those blasters on the legs, and we're actually going to peg those legs together. That's really the like back of the plane for the most part. Done, honestly. Okay, let's keep that down and keep that down. By the way, these need to stay down for going to alt mode. Next we will turn the head around. And we should be able to bring this down over. I've never tried doing this with the face mask on, so I don't know if it actually works with the face mask on. It seems like it does. Yeah, it seems like it does work with the face mask on. Cool. We brought that down over his face. Then this whole backpack section here, all this should come off and kind of come out. At this point, with all of that off and out, straightening that up, we should be able to take this wing piece and we untab it from up there and we bring it down here where we should be able to tab it in again. And same over here, we take it off and we should be able to bring it all the way down and tab it in again. There's those wings done. And we should even be able to, I believe, yeah, we should be able to do all of that. Now, yeah. Okay, now we need to deal with the chest section that has to come back. The chest, really what you're doing is you're picking the whole thing off and you're bringing it down, and when you bring it down, it tabs in. There's a little tab that, is it on the gold or is it on the body? I think it's on the body that tabs into this little tab here on the thigh. And after tabs in there, what you're doing is this tab right here, you're bringing down to go into the back of the arm. It can be a bit of a nuisance to do that. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. It is, I think I got it that time. And then, oh, and I just popped a wing off here. My mistake. There. I think I got it all done correctly on this side now. Because you also have to, I should explain this too, you also have to slot a little opening down over this section while putting, see if I can explain this. Gosh, I'm not doing a great job here. There's a little opening that goes down over this section, and then there's this peg, sorry, that goes into the arm. So this peg into the arm and a little section that goes down over here. It locks it in two places, basically. But let's talk about this chest for a second, because I know it has been a point of contention for a lot of people. When I do the transformation going back from plane to robot, what I will do, and I'm going to take this off, you'll notice I wiggled it off, I took it down. When I'm taking it back up, there are teeth right here. Well, in behind, blue teeth right here. In behind, there's gray teeth in here. I found when I take this back up, what I need to do is angle in the gold hinge and the ribs first, while sort of holding the teeth out a little bit. When I bring the teeth around the front, I push it in. I have to make sure the rib is in. If the rib isn't in, the teeth won't hold. But once the rib is in and the teeth hold, now I can pull on this and it does not come loose. So ribs first, then teeth. That's the trick that works for me. Have not had it fail one time yet. It's worked splendidly for me. Make of that what you will. Then we bring this out and we gotta do the same thing using this tab. I gotta go down to that arm again. Let's see what kind of luck we have getting it in here. That looks good. Make sure it's down over. No, it came out. And now it's got to come down over right there. All right, now we got most of it done. You'll notice we have a rectangular tab there. That's going to go over that, bring up these two wings if they didn't already, and then on the front there is, hold on, let me take this one I think. There is a little, yeah, by this hinge, there's a little tiny rectangular notch. And on this, where the 5mm peg is, to the side of it, there's a little rectangular tab. And that little rectangular tab goes into that notch in front of that hinge. Same thing over on this side. And boom, in the end, here we have Sentinel Prime in his glorious plane mode. Now, as a Cybertronian plane, I can't really discern a landing gear here. Maybe there is, but if there is, I'm not seeing it. Don't really think I need it for a Cybertronian plane. Love the look of this. There are hints here, like I said, to Zeta, to Nominus, even to Dirge. Like the plane has some nods to Dirge as a seeker, right? Sort of foreshadowing as a bad guy. It has nods to Cyclonus. There's a lot of inspiration here. Getting here from the super mode or from the base robot mode is so easy. I love it. I'm giving the transformation a 10. He had a 9 and a 9, a 10. I think he's a 9.5. I think he's a fabulous Transformer. Forget Transformers 1. Forget separate universe and movie and stuff. Just as a Transformer, he's excellent and he's fun. If you've had the issue with the loose chest, please try and put the ribs in first and then sort of almost slightly flex just to make sure that the teeth that are on the chest piece are out in front of the teeth that are molded in the blue torso. And when you get the gray teeth out in front of the blue teeth, I find you just got to give it a little snug push, and I have yet to have his chest come loose. Love this guy. Overall score 9.5, and so glad I picked him up. Oh, and here I am, and here he is. I love this plane mode. You know, just like I said, the Dirge vibes, the Cyclonus vibes. It feels very Decepticon-esque, even though he was an Autobot Prime, right? Or even, not even Autobot Prime, it was a Cybertronian Prime, right? We know a little bit more now about that lineage. And how this guy, for my collection, works as Nominus or Zeta. I don't know if we'll ever get an official Nominus or an official Zeta, but this guy is a nice opportunity to fill in a missing Matrix bearer. We really need a Guardian Prime 2, but again, maybe a custom hot rod might fill the bill there. And even if we get like an official Zeta, this guy could still be Nominus. If we ever get an official Nominus, this guy could still be Zeta. So like he has a lot of options in life to him. Or of course, if you loved Transformers 1 and you're collecting the Transformers 1 characters, obviously he makes a great Sentinel Prime. I understand the issue with the chest. If you had that QC issue, I am very sorry that you encountered it because it's a bummer. It would absolutely be something that could ruin this guy. However, I have not encountered that issue. I tried to explain how you put the ribs in first and then the teeth that are here and the teeth behind the chest piece. Like put the teeth of the chest piece just in front of those and almost like kind of give it a little push in. Works for me is all I can tell you. It might not work for you, but hey, worth giving a try if you find that he has a loose chest. Love the robot mode. Other than the weird pointy down toes, I love the souped up mode, even if I don't want to leave the arms all the way extended. Love the battle mask. Yeah, smooth transformation between both robot modes and this. All the articulation that I could really want. A wrist, I guess, would be nice. But, and the mask is there. It has the mask, the power scout, the paint, the whole shebang is there. He's great. I think he's really worth the get. I'm glad to have him, even if I'm going to use him as Zeta Prime instead of Sentinel Prime. Let me know what you think about the Transformers 1 iteration of Sentinel Prime. Did you like it? Did you not? How does this one compare to the main line, which I never ever looked at or reviewed? But I'm impressed with this guy, even if he doesn't have that double-bladed sword. Anyway, I digress. Let me know what you think about Sentinel Prime here. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button. Stick around, man. Have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.